What are you doing?
Well, it was on Gardener's World. There's that woman off YouTube, Tanya, and she's got an allotment, and she says she puts honey on her face because it's good for you.
I don't quite think that's what she meant, you idiot.
Right guys, time for a garden update away from the allotment. So, as you can see, we're still waiting on more topsoil to be delivered. I'm a metre or two away from the paving slabs, but then it kind of runs out here. So I don't want to plant right up to that edge because there's nothing holding it in place at the moment, and one big heavy rainfall and it'll all wash away. So I've not got an awful lot planted out right now. I planted out a sage this weekend. There's a hydrangea which I took from a cutting. That's doing alright. Garlic chives. Fuchsia called Army Nurse is just starting to open. That's doing okay. I brought some comfrey home from the allotment. I'm going to have comfrey in my food forest. It's not strictly speaking going to be used as food, but it will have other uses. So I'll 2 or 3 times a year, once that's established, I will be cutting it back and turning some of the leaves into a liquid feed, which absolutely stinks, by the way, so Claire and the girls won't thank me for that. I can also add the bits of leaves. If I don't use them in the liquid feed, I can just use them directly as a mulch around plants, or I can add them to my compost. My rose, called Special Grandma, that's not doing great, to be honest. It doesn't look massively happy, but I've planted it out. But we'll just keep watering it and keep looking after it. It has dropped a few of its lower leaves, and it's stopped flowering as well. And at the back we've got a hollyhock. So still need more soil. Then I'll be able to put like the quince tree, get that planted out. And we have actually got a quince this year. Hang on, can I show you? Yes, first year we've had a quince on it, so that'll be nice. I'm looking forward to that. Just one solitary quince. Got another fuchsia there. That's Little Pink Ballerina, I think it's called. That's got a couple of flowers on it and lots of buds as well, so that's doing all right. Winter savoury, that goes hand in hand with Jerusalem artichoke. Yeah, so all these pots and that, you know, and bits of rubble, when we get the soil delivered, I'll have to move these and get things planted out, but it'll kind of work itself as I'm moving along, adding soil. It'll give me a planting space, so then something in a pot can get planted out into it. So I'll be working through it as I go along. But then over here, what I need to do is, this is going to be the path. I've just put a little bit of gravel down just to give me an idea. It's going to be wider than this. The original plan was to have a parallel line, parallel to that we've made, just straight diagonal to that back corner where the chickens are. However, to start it from that paving slab there, I was going to move this paving slab, but when I was trying to get this paving slab out, all this brick column was wobbling, so it's too connected to it, so I'm going to have to leave that in. Instead, I'm going to have to start from there. So I've already cut away the mortar that was underneath the slabs. I've started to make a bit of a square hole where I can put a wooden support to hold the decking boards up, which are going to have soil behind them. So all of that is going to go, because that's going to have soil. But it doesn't have to be immediate, because as you can see, we've still got live fruit producing raspberry plants in there. So I'll leave them in as long as I can and try and work around it somehow. So now that means that the path, rather than just a straight diagonal, it's now gonna have like an open bit around there to about here in a straight line, and then it'll go diagonal parallel with what's on the other side, if that makes sense. It all makes perfect sense to me. I have a plan in my head. Oh yes. Yeah, my gladioli have opened, but they're covered in black fly. I'm gonna have to get some soapy water spray Can you see that one there? Look how badly that's covered. I'll get some soapy water spray on them from a spray bottle. I have done a video about this a couple of years ago, but basically what spraying a little bit of liquid, washing up liquid in some water, when you spray them, it coats the body in the greasy film, and insects have holes on the body that they breathe through called spiracles. I think there's about 13 of them, I might be wrong, you'll have to check that particular fact out, but yeah, they have these breathing holes called spiracles, and greasy soapy water basically covers those holes and suffocates them, and they die and they drop off without whatever it is you're spraying harming the plant. So I try not to use the kind of chemicals in my garden which could get into my food chain, because as you know, I grow a lot of food in this backyard. So I try to use things that are not too harmful, were they to get into the soil and then into the food that I grow. When the beans are doing great, look at all the flowers on them. They're doing nice. And over here are the dwarf beans that Ruby and I planted. 3 types, one in the middle, one on the end, although we didn't get full germination on the ones on the end. And then these here, can I find the label? What variety? What variety were it? Oh no, that's an old label, that says sage. There is a label somewhere. Can't find it. I can't remember what variety they were. But we look forward to getting lots of beans from those. Just in this corner, I've got a rogue volunteer chamomile. I've not got the heart to pull it up. How lovely is that? So hopefully next weekend will be the weekend when I can really make some more progress on the food forest part, when the soil gets delivered. And get that massive pile of decking used up, which I'm making. We're staining them and we're using these. Now I am aware that because I'm putting soil behind these, they will rot and they're not going to last forever. My original intention was to use concrete cinder blocks, a bit like, yeah, not a bit like, exactly like that one there, the ones with the 2 holes in. But then we saw how expensive they were, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to saving up for those. We're not gonna get those straight away. Well, in the meantime, we're making use of what we've got, which is quite a frugal way of doing things. And you know, we'll get 4 or 5 years out of it. So quite happy with that. Gives us plenty of time to save up for concrete bleeze box. Kale, doing alright. We could probably start harvesting that, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's loads of things going on in loads of little pots, but we can't really do much with them at the moment until we get more soil on the floor. It'll get there, guys. It'll get there. I need to tell Ruby and Olivia to come out and pick these raspberries before either me or the birds eat them all. It's quite a lot when you start looking for them. Right. And I'll probably wait till winter to move these raspberries when they're dormant, and they're going to get moved into this large bed, and they'll go nearish the wall, not right against the wall. The very back row is going to be trees, and I'm not going to have the trees right up against the wall, because you know, walls suck the moisture out of soil and trees won't get the moisture they need. But there will be a bit of a gap, and then there's going to be like fairly tall plants like raspberries, and it's going to be like medium-sized plants like comfrey, and then we've got a sage there, and then we've got a small ground hugging herb in the winter savoury there. So it's that height thing that I've mentioned in other videos. It's going to go low there, the height's going to be at the back. What's a butterfly? These marigolds are Mr. Majestic, and we grew them from seed. Are you going to open your wings, Mr. Butterfly? at this fern. I do like ferns. Just tucked behind this wall so it's not never got direct sunlight on it. Yeah. Need more ferns. Speaking of which, over here, how's that tree fern doing? Seems to be doing okay. I can see some new young fresh growth on it. So that's doing alright. It's the first year we've had a tree fern. I saw it as a bargain in the garden centre, so because if you buy a full size one there's lots of money because they're quite slow growing, so it's taken someone years to get it to a decent size. So I bought a really small one for a really good price. I think it was less than £10 if I remember rightly. These aren't sunflowers, these are my Jerusalem artichokes in a tyre. I need to work out if they're going to go into the food forest or not, because I can contain them in a tyre because they do like to spread. I don't know if I'll be able to contain them as well in a big area of open soil. I think if I was to plant them in there I'd be forever picking them out. So I'll have a think about that. I might keep a tyre back just to plant artichokes into. We shall see, we shall see. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, why not click on that subscribe button? Thanks guys.